So, Tetia had twins. Sekre conveniently forgot that Tetia had ended up surviving this whole ordeal. A very convenient memory to forget, my girl. Come on, Sekre, come on! Tetia survives, but where does Tetia go?
I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Pull up, say what's the deal, bruh? See how I lose my cool any second if they don't hear us. Many people will fear us. Say when you look in the mirror, don't you compare us to anything, they get embarrassed. Ha, woo. So many people be talking like they want the problems or something. I noticed that all of you polish and all of you people get punished. It's hard to keep food on your stomach, to all of the hustle keep running. That's hard to stay humble with nothing. We're off of the jungle, we're bugging. So let me come down all of a sudden. I told you that we keep it buzzing. Ha, woo. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out. Bounce. I ain't feeling nothing cause I'm numbed out.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Jack Osago. You either know or you don't. First things first, if you are not already following me on Twitter, please do subscribe to this channel, throw a like on the video, or do none of the above. And it's been nice talking. Anyway, so we got this whole thing about how Tetia survives, and so does one son of Lix, because she was having twins. So one died and the other didn't. One carried on his genes and I guess carried the elven race into the next gens. But one thing no one's really asking right now is, like, where did Tetia go? Because she clearly didn't go back to the Clover Kingdom. I think that might have been out of the question now. I think one of the important questions to ask is, did she or did she not know that there was a devil behind everything that happened? That's up in the air. I think we can still take this conversation in almost the same direction. Let's say she did know. I guarantee you she probably had this whole, like, she's probably a badass, like hunting demons down or something. I don't know, maybe not hunting them down, but probably planning against them to make sure that she gets her revenge, because why should Lick get all the fun? I mean, what? Guys can only avenge their families? No way. I guarantee Tetia's got her own badass story about how she took steps to make sure that devils would never do this shit again. So, here's what I think. We know that Litz had all these swords. He had the Demon Slayer, the Demon Annihilator, the Demon Dweller. He had all these swords, but two of them were not even there. They were two of them weren't even there. Just the Demon Slayer. Okay, why is that? Licht didn't use it. As far as we know, he didn't use it towards the end of his life. So why were they just out? And one was in a dungeon, like, obviously trying to be protected. What's going on? Pretty fishy stuff. Yeah? Pretty fishy. So, I think Tetia did know what was going on. And I think that she actually knew that the AMD, her son, if you watch my last video, hid out in Lick's Grimoire. Because, like, what are you going to do? It was kind of a weird story now that you look back at it. When you look at Sekre's side, right? She was there for the whole fight, helped bring down that demon that Lick summoned. And she became a bird and protected this Grimoire for 500 years, but fell asleep on top of it or something. Like, what? I don't know. if that ever made sense, I just never really questioned it that hard. So I was sure that we were going to get more of the story, but I didn't think we were going to get this story. But since Tetia survived, I'm pretty sure that she's the one who placed the grimoire where it was and made sure it was gone from no one's knowledge, except for hers, of course, because that's part of what a mother would do, right? Make sure that her son stays safe. But also to maybe, go into this whole revenge plot that she could have. Because, of course, she was screwed over immensely. Think about what Zagred did. He essentially killed off Lumiere, got rid of Sekre for 500 years. I mean, she got rid of herself, I know, but, like, she had to do that for the fate of the world. Lost all her friends, all her elf friends, right? Lost her lover. Made him go completely insane and become the harbinger of doom, and almost died herself, and was only survived by one son. The other one was, if you watch my last video, possibly sacrificed by Licht. So, like, her situation was completely messed up, and if you think there's no way that she's not thinking that she would take some type of revenge, you're out of your mind. Like, you would do it too. This is why we have, like, Batman and Punisher. Like, they're all out for revenge, because that's what you're going to do. Your whole family dies, everything you know, gone, you're going for revenge. Now, the reason why I think she knows that a devil was behind this was because that she didn't go back to the kingdom. And though it's probably easy to say that she didn't go back because she hated everyone, if they killed your family, you're probably going to go back to kill them. That's at least the route anime takes 10 times out of 10. All right, I don't think I'm wrong on that one. So I'm going to go with that. She knows that, Zagred, or just a devil, was behind this. And we also know that royals specifically do know about devils to some level. Maybe not in the way like, oh yeah, we got to go hunt those things down, but they definitely were told about the lore of demons. And we know this in a couple of places. One, when Lumiere was trapped by Zagred, he automatically knew, like, oh, this is a devil. And that's not usually the conclusion someone would draw, right, if they didn't know about them. And then you had Noel, when they all found out that Asta had a demon inside of his grimoire. She was like, well, I did suspect that, there was like a devil or something, because, she said something like, it looked just like the stories that we were told as kids. And it's, again, very interesting, because we know that Noel is definitely a royal. So apparently they do pass down some knowledge, because they are higher up. And usually when you are higher up, you want to keep all that knowledge to yourself, so that the masses, the peasants, and the people who aren't on your social level are easier to control, because you have more knowledge over these things. So it's not absurd to say that she had no idea what a devil might have been. Now, there's also more of a reason that she knew, because we know that elves had went on record and said they've fought devils before. I believe it was Licht, or either Licht or Patri, who directly stated that this is something that's happened before. But it probably just wasn't to the extent that they ended up seeing. So if they're spending so much time together, it's only natural that they probably talked about the fact that devils are a thing. And especially if apostles are in play, they are directly connected to the shadow version of what they represent. And we talk about this all the time, how like Licht was Keter, and the direct opposite would be the lowest shadow of the Tree of Life, which would be where Satan and Moloch reside. He would be the strongest demons. So it would pretty much make sense that she definitely knows about devils being a thing, for sure. And it's probably why Lumiere knew for sure what he was going up against. So I'm thinking that when she came to, after she was able to move and all that, found Licht's grimoire, and was able to discover that her would-be son, one of them, the other twin, took refuge in it upon his death in order to survive, which is why Lick's grimoire never disappeared. So she took it, and now the rest of this is just going to be like, because now it's just this huge gap of like her taking care of the surviving son, doing whatever with this grimoire, putting it inside of a wall for whatever reason, and then getting to this new elven colony that's been on the borders of the Heart Kingdom for forever, I guess. So, I mean, the rest is up to speculation, for sure. All of this is speculation, actually. But what if she plotted with her son? Well, probably both sons, but also with the AMD. And he ended up dispelling those swords, making sure that it was not inside of the book for probably this one main reason. We know that Zagrid really desired Lick's grimoire. And I don't think this is just because it was a 4-leaf and 4 leaves, blah, blah, blah. I think it was specifically because Lick held that position as Keter. And just like I said in all these other videos, in the lore, Keter is the closest to God. This means that this is not just some ordinary grimoire. Yes, Lumiere and Lick had very similar magic. But Lick was more special because he was actually closer to God. So if you perverted that grimoire, you're probably going to be swinging up to like the strongest demon ever. So I think that's what he was aiming for. Not so much the fact that it was light magic or, that it was just like a strong guy's grimoire. This was the grimoire. This was Keter. That was his grimoire. So let's say another demon finds out a way, like Zagrid did, to get out of the underworld and then start stirring up trouble again. To try and get this grimoire, they're probably going to be hunting down Lick's grimoire. If they know it's still around. Because, usually grimoires disappear, but Lick's didn't. And maybe just as a safeguard, had the AMD, Tetia had the AMD, her son, dispel the other two swords, the Annihilator and the Dweller, and keep the Demon Slayer. For the reason that if we look at the Demon Slayer versus those other two swords, it's not as broken as the other two, right? I mean, the Demon Annihilator, are you listening to the name? Annihilates demons. And then we talk about the Dweller. We've seen what Lick was able to do with the Demon Dweller. We saw what he was able to do with both. And it's a really wide gap between what the Demon Slayer can do versus what the other two can do. So I do think they were somehow counting on the fact that there would be an heir to this grimoire that was worthy of holding it to then carry out a plan sooner or later. Now, this also, I should have touched on this in the last video, but I think I'll do it here because it kind of fits. When we look at the AMD's relationship with Asta, it's not really like, this dude's like demonic, like he's just out for blood and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's pretty much having, I don't want to say cordial conversations. Of course, it's just like, it is kind of like twisted in a way, but he's not hell-bent on like, devouring Asta's body for like his own agenda, at least not now. And I always make this reference to the fight that he had with Ladros. Asta was gonna die in that battle, and the AMD knew it. He's like, bro, just give me your body. Like, it was more of a suggestion, and it was playful banter. He's like, come on, just give me that, come on, just give me. But, and what ended up happening is that the AMD had to lend him over more anti-magic for him to use, which Asta ends up totally wiping out Ladros after that. So he had the chance. I think he's had many chances to, probably take over Asta, and it ultimately just comes down to not wanting to. And then you see his interaction with Zagrid when Zagrid is going down. He doesn't give a flying crap about other demons, that's for sure. And then we see this weird space where we see the bloodlust finally, but it's not towards Asta, it's not towards anyone else, it's towards Lucifero. And he's saying that he hates him. and he wants to kill him because this, if this is Lucifer, this is the big bad. Like, he wants him dead because if you decapitate the whole horse, the whole horse starts if you decapitate the horse, the rest of it stops moving, right? So it's probably what drove that brief moment of insanity from the AMD inside of Asta's head. Now, to figure out where this malice comes from, yeah, it could definitely be like the AMD is just a lowly devil who is kind of like Asta, who wants to be like the demon king, but so many demons don't believe in him because he has this weird stopgap magic, which just proves that he's just the lowest of the low. But I think with the last video and what I've already said, that this is less of the case, and it's more of the fact that it was demons who killed off his entire family. Yeah, you're probably going to be pissed too if your entire family got wiped out because a demon manipulated other people to cause this massacre and then make sure his father died, and then his father turned against him. So like, I can only see like he's got this twisted sense of justice almost, where no one wanted him alive except for Tetia, possibly, if that is actually her son. No one but Tetia wanted him to live, and he probably holds this specific resentment towards probably Licht, which would I'll go into it after this, but also demons. He probably wants them all dead because that was the catalyst to everything. Now, if we looked at the Licht to the AMD just being his son, if we look at this theory, this would make sense and falls under the whole God and Satan relationship. Now, I have said already that Licht being Keter does not make him God, but it makes him the closest to God. This is the literal definition of Keter. It will tell you that it is the closest to God. So if Licht was in fact so overwhelmed by his hatred towards humans at the time, and he did sacrifice his more human son, which the AMD would be in this case, then it would make sense with this whole God and Satan issue that we have, is that God did cast out Satan because Satan had forsaken him. In this case, did a baby forsake Licht? Absolutely not. Or did he get forsaken by a baby? Absolutely not. But he did get forsaken by what that baby represented, which was humanity. And so he casted him out, sacrificed him, and now he's the strongest being in hell. And I think that's the story that we're getting. And I don't know. That's where my head is. I know I'm crazy, but also remember that your boy's been crazy a lot of times, and crazy ends up being right. But I know this sounds really crazy because we have like no real dots to connect, except for the very few that we got. And this is a huge jump. Like I said, there's a 500 plus year jump between what Tetia did when she was bleeding out with one son still alive to the grimoire being placed inside that wall and them being with this new colony in the heart with the elves. There's a lot left unsaid and unknown. So until we get some more pieces, it's gonna be a little tough to to really place what events did and did not happen. But I do think this is the direction it's going. But I think that's all I got. So, yeah. If you rocked with it, put a like on this video. Follow me on Twitter. Again, I put exclusive videos in Twitter now. So next week, I'll probably put out something else, probably as soon as the chapter drops or as soon as I read it at least, before I put out an actual YouTube video that further details my thoughts on what I say. So if you're into that, do it. If you're not, don't worry about it. But I will see you guys in the next video. If you're rocking with me, this has been Jackos the Goat. I appreciate you all. You either know or you don't.